I've got a very special video for y'all here because I'm going to be talking about the best of the best. This video is all about my personal top 10 video games of all time. This one was actually suggested by a fan and I thought it'd be great to do. So yeah, if you have ideas and suggestions, that is something I pay attention to. Anyway, this is a good opportunity for me to talk about some games that are really special to me, but that I might not talk about that much on the channel. Before I get into it though, I want to mention that I did implement one specific rule here, and that is one game per series. If I didn't have this rule in place, trust me, this video would be a lot more boring and lacking in variety. Also, I'll be upfront and say I totally have a retro bias. I'm an old millennial dude who grew up in the 90s, and a lot of games from that era are my childhood games that hold a special place in my heart. With that being said though, all of the games that I talk about in this video still totally hold up today. And remember, this is all just for fun. These are just the opinions of some weirdo who wears a stack of hats on his head. Nothing's at stake here, so if one of your favorites isn't on this list, no one's gonna die or anything, or at least I hope not. So with that all out of the way, here's my list for the top 10 video games of all time. Coming up first is DDR Max 2. And yeah, this is definitely one that you might not expect to see on a list like this, but I have a very personal connection to DDR, and especially this game, DDR Max 2. You'll often hear about how Wii Sports was this phenomenon that got people who aren't really into video games into playing it. And that's definitely true. I was playing Wii Sports with like my parents and uncle and people who don't really ever touch video games. But for me personally, DDR was the big phenomenon that got everyone into playing it. At least among my circle of friends way back in the day. One of my friends got it and had a bunch of us over to play it at his house. And it all kind of went from there, and then another friend bought it and then I had to get it. And then like instantly, we were all playing DDR. And this was right after DDR Max 2 came out on PS2, so that was the newest one, so that was the one we all bought. And yeah, it was just a whole thing. And anytime we had any sort of gathering, someone would bring DDR. And there'd be a friend there who'd be like, DDR, that's lame. And then by the end of the night, they're like, oh man, this is awesome. And yeah, we just got everyone into it, even people who don't play video games. Like, this was more of that phenomenon to me than Wii Sports ever was. Some of my friends would stick on beginner or light mode, but then me and a few other friends would play on heavy mode and we got competitive. Oh man, the rivalry I had with some friends in this game, I was obsessed. I even bought one of those expensive metal pads and just played all the time. But yeah, as for the game itself, DDR has this simple, super approachable design that anyone could just jump in and play. And I mean jump in quite literally. It's just super fun following those arrows. And I think all the old DDR games have pretty great track lists, but I think DDR Max 2 still has the best track list. And it might be biased because that was the one I got first and played the most, but I still think that holds up. DDR Max 2 mostly made my top 10 just for that special time I had with it, and it's not one that I go back to and play as much compared to the other games on this list, but it just holds a really special place in my heart. And I'll always love the DDR games for that. Coming in at number 9, it's Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. Oh man, that name's a mouthful. This kind of applies for the whole Phoenix Wright trilogy, but if I'm choosing one game here as the pinnacle, it's definitely Trials and Tribulations. Oh man, the Ace Attorney series. I have to admit, I actually didn't play this until more recent times. I completely missed out on the series back when it was coming out on the DS. And I have this friend who, you know who you are if you're watching this, was telling me for years I should play these games, but I don't know, it didn't really seem like my kind of game. I didn't really play story-heavy games where you solve mysteries and stuff, but I finally decided to try it out when the remastered trilogy came out on the Switch, and oh man, why did I not play these games sooner? Watching these stories unfold as you use your logic to point out contradictions in the trials, it's an awesome experience, and it really hooks you in once you start playing. These games have such a great cast of characters and over-the-top sense of humor, and I just love them. And I can't really get into the story too much because, you know, spoilers and stuff, but I'll just say that you get roped into some crazy stuff. I may not have the same kind of history with these games as I do with the other games on this list, but Ace Attorney has quickly become one of my favorite series now, and I just love these games. These games are available on pretty much any platform, so if you haven't played the Phoenix Wright games, I highly recommend you try them out. At number 8, it's The World Ends With You. And this one's another oddball pick that's very different from what you'll be seeing for the rest of this list. But man, I love this game. I've made it quite known on this channel that for the most part, I'm not really into RPGs. So when this game first came out, I just didn't give it much thought. But people kept telling me to play this one. They said even if I don't like traditional RPGs, I might like this one. It's different. So I picked up The World Ends With You for my DS, and yeah, holy crap, they were right. This game feels so fresh and has this really unique style to it that I absolutely love. Gameplay-wise, it makes perfect use of touch controls, allowing you to do different attacks depending on how you touch the screen. And equipping different pins and trying out different attacks, it's really fun. It has a really good soundtrack that's kind of all over the place in its variety, and I love it for that. The story is really good, and it has a really interesting cast of characters that will definitely keep you intrigued as you play through this game. Talking about The World Ends With You really doesn't do it justice, you just really have to play it for yourself. I'd say the original Nintendo DS version is still the best way to play it, but it's also been re-released to mobile phones and even Switch. Although if you play the Switch version, please listen to my advice and play it in handheld mode. If you play it with a controller, they added these weird motion controls that don't work too well. Just please do not play this game docked on the Switch. Anyway, I just had such a good experience playing through this game, and it's one that I've gone back to and revisited quite a bit. The World Ends With You is just an amazing game. Coming in at number 7 is Banjo-Kazooie. Gah! Yeah, I'll just be controversial and say this right now. I think this is a better 3D platformer than Super Mario 64. And I love Super Mario 64, don't get me wrong, but this game just outdoes it in every aspect. The worlds, the level design, the jiggy missions, it all just comes together so well. And of course I have to mention the cast of characters and the humor in this game because man, it's just great. This game is so full of charm. There's a really good reason why fans have been begging for a sequel to the series after so many years. And why people, me included, were campaigning to get Banjo and Kazooie in Smash Bros. For so long. And I haven't even mentioned all the awesome abilities you get in this game. You can have Kazooie carry you up steep inclines, or make her poop out eggs, it's all good stuff. I got this game when it first came out back in 1998 and oh man, I was obsessed. This is like the ultimate collectathon game, and I spent so many hours collecting everything and finding every little secret. Banjo-Kazooie is without a doubt one of the best 3D platformer games ever made, and that's why it makes my list of top video games of all time. It's fortunately become pretty accessible, so you can try it out yourself if you haven't already. It's on Nintendo Switch Online, and if you have any of the last 3 generations of Xbox consoles, it's available to play on any of those. So yeah, if you haven't played this game, you definitely should. And for those of you who have played this, I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. At number 6 is Super Mario World. And man, to me, this is just the Super Mario game. Everything about the 2D Mario formula has just been perfected here. The levels in this game are designed so well, and it's got those great Mario power-ups, and they added the Cape power-up, which is my favorite Super Mario power-up ever. And on top of all that, Super Mario World introduced Yoshi, which adds a whole new dynamic to the game. There's a simple yet really charming art design to this game, and that music. All those great songs that are renditions of that iconic Mario World melody. I just love it. As you can probably imagine, this is a very special childhood game for me. Oh man, the experience I had playing through this game, it was magical. It took me months upon months to discover all the secrets and see all the content that this game had to offer, and I really enjoyed doing it. Super Mario World was meant to be like the game that got people to get this new system that Nintendo were releasing. And not only did it succeed in that regard, but it ended up being just a straight up masterpiece that holds up incredibly well all these years later. One of the best games ever made, without a doubt. And I would call this my favorite Super Nintendo game, but there might just be one other game that I might like just a little bit more. And that leads into number 5, Donkey Kong Country 2. This amazing game is just rare at their very peak here. Everything's just so well crafted. Diddy Kong and Dixie Kong both just feel great to control. And the levels are packed with so many cool unique gimmicks. It's like pretty much every level's gonna provide you a new experience, and it's really cool. And of course I have to mention the soundtrack because the music in this game, it's so good. Songs like Forest Interlude, Hot Head Hop, and especially Stickerbush Symphony. Like pretty much every song in this game is a masterpiece. And then you've got the animal buddies that add all these fun twists. It's such good stuff. And this game has plenty of secrets and extra content to find too. I had so much fun finding all those DK tokens, and all the stuff with the Lost World, oh man, that was sure something. I got Donkey Kong Country 2 for Christmas in 1995, soon after it came out, and it was kind of just gonna be a game to hold me over until the Nintendo 64 came, but it ended up being so much more than that. I got so much joy out of fully 100% completing this game, or 102% should I say, and this is a game that I continually go back to and play through again and again because I just love it. Donkey Kong Country 2 is quite a game, and obviously if you haven't played it yet, I absolutely think you should. It's currently on Nintendo Switch Online. Coming in at number 4 is Super Street Fighter 2. Really, this applies to any version of Street Fighter 2, but Super Street Fighter 2 was the one that I was most attached to. It's kind of like gaming's earliest DLC. And yeah, what can I even say? Street Fighter 2 is the definitive one-on-one fighting game. It's one of the most influential video games ever made. And while it wasn't the first fighting game ever made, it pretty much started the whole fighting game genre as we know it. And you know what? It still holds up really well today. Street Fighter 2 has such a great cast of characters, each with their own unique way of playing. You've got Ryu and Ken's Hadoukens and Chun-Li's spinning bird kick and just, such great iconic stuff. And that soundtrack, holy crap! All those amazing character themes, one of the best soundtracks in all of gaming, like definitely. But the one aspect about this game that I think really shines the most is just how replayable it is. Street Fighter 2 is the perfect game to play with a friend. You could just do some short matches, or things could get competitive and you could get really into it. It can be addictive. And it's also a lot of fun in single player mode too. It's great to keep coming back to it and trying to deal with those cheap computer fighters, ugh. I have the arcade 1-up cabinet they released of this game, and yeah, it is just perfect for two people to come up and start playing together. As for this game specifically, the super part of Super Street Fighter 2 enhances things with better sprites and audio, and adds 4 new characters, including my favorite character Cammy, so that's a big plus for me. Regardless of the version though, Street Fighter 2 is legendary, and definitely among my very favorite games of all time. We're in our top 3 now, and coming in at number 3 is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This is by far the most recent game you're going to be seeing on this list, but man, this game just has everything. Over 80 playable characters, over 100 stages, over 1,000 music tracks, you really couldn't reasonably ask for more. Even though us Smash Bros. Fans still do constantly ask for more, but still. And it really helps things that, along with its insane amount of content, the game plays really well. It's not like traditional fighting games like Street Fighter where you have to memorize specific moves for each character. But even with its more simplified control method, all these characters still have their own unique way of playing, and it's a lot of fun trying them all out. Single player wise, it's got a lot to offer. The classic mode is always fun to run through, and the story mode, World of Light, I really enjoyed a lot. And of course, there's a lot of stuff to unlock. So if you really want to see everything this game has to offer, you're going to be putting in a lot of hours. But of course, where this game truly shines is the multiplayer because, oh man, I have so many memories playing this game with friends. So many. As of this video, this game's over 6.5 years old at this point, and to this day, this is still the go-to game to play when I have friends over. We just can't get enough of Smash Ultimate. Beyond just putting countless hours into playing this game, a big part of Smash Bros. Ultimate's appeal, for me personally, was just the hype surrounding it. I was so excited for all the upcoming characters they were adding, and I maybe spent a little too much time scouring the internet for any sort of potential leaks and stuff. I was obsessed. And watching those trailers, oh man, those were exciting times for me. This is kind of the one game on this list that I could potentially see being replaced in the future, but at the same time, I just kind of feel like, how is this gonna be topped? But then again, I felt the exact same way about Smash Bros. For Wii U, and that was the newest one, so, you know, it's kind of funny to think about now. But as it is, even if I don't have decades of memories with this one, like with the other games on my list, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is just one of my favorites. I absolutely love this game. At number 2 is The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. This game is just a masterpiece. And I know that saying Ocarina of Time is my favorite Zelda game isn't exactly a unique opinion. Yeah, it's the basic bitch opinion. It's like saying my favorite coffee is Starbucks, but you know, it's as popular as it is for a good reason. The experience that I had with this game was just unlike anything else. To say it was special to me would be a vast understatement because just, man, it has such a great story and cast of characters, and the art direction in this game, man, I just love it all so much. Also, I really like the dungeons in this game. I think they're really well designed, and even if I have certain feelings about the water temple, I still got a really good sense of accomplishment after I finished it, so that's definitely worth something. I've seen people online say that this game doesn't hold up very well, and I completely disagree. I mean, other than the graphics, because yeah, obviously, that goofy low-poly 3D look was pretty much the best they could do at the time. Otherwise, though, this is a game that I've come back to a lot, and I think it holds up perfectly. It still controls great, and the overworlds and dungeons are still really well designed. Yeah, Ocarina of Time is still an amazing game. And yeah, obviously my nostalgia and personal experience with it plays a huge role in my thoughts on it, but I still think it's as great as ever. While not quite number 1, I can definitely say that The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time is my favorite video game that Nintendo has ever made. Before I get to number 1, here are some honorable mentions of games that are way up there for me but didn't quite make the list. And here we are at number 1 is Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles. For anyone who's been watching my channel much at all, this won't come as a surprise. I've probably said this is my favorite game of all time at least 10 times or so on the channel. Regardless though, everything I've said about this game still applies. The 16-bit classic Sonic games are just amazing, and Sonic 3 and Knuckles in particular just really perfects that Sonic formula. You've got that great high-speed Sonic gameplay with the momentum-based physics, and really cool locations with just amazing level design. Seriously, if you explore these levels, there's just so many alternate paths and cool little things to find like everywhere. And as for the soundtrack, the music is just among the very best you will ever hear. I mean, unless you're playing the Sonic Origins version, but I won't get into that right now. Oh man, Ice Cap Zone, Hydro City Zone, Mushroom Hill Zone, Sky Sanctuary Zone, the level themes in this game are just so good. And this probably goes without saying, but this game was a huge part of my childhood. I have played through this game so many times, and will likely play through it many more times in the future. Yeah, I don't even know how to fully put into words how special the classic 16-bit Sonic games are to me, and especially Sonic 3 and Knuckles. All things considered, this is basically the perfect video game in my eyes. Well, I mean, I don't know if I could use the word perfect because this game does have Sandopolis Zone, but still, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, in my personal opinion, is the best video game of all time. So that's my list for the top 10 video games of all time. What do you think? Did some of your favorites make it on here? Or are you more on the side of, God, this hat stack weirdo has terrible taste? There's no right or wrong answer here. Either way, let me know in the comments. Also, share any special memories that you might have with any of these games. I'd like to read them. It was good to be able to give a spotlight on some of these games I don't really talk about a whole lot on this channel. Like, I know I talk about Sonic all the time, but I think I've hardly ever brought up stuff like DDR and The World Ends With You. But you know, they're among my favorites. Regardless of how you feel about my rankings, if you made it this far, then I appreciate you watching this video all the way through. So, thank you for watching. I hope you all have a hat stacking good day.